I am now with Mr. Elvis Madison. Elvis Madison is running for Joliet Park Commissioner. We're going to talk with Elvis and we're going to find out his platform and what he plans to do for the Joliet Park District. I think it's very exciting that he's running for this Park District Board, and I wish Elvis all the luck in obtaining the seat of Joliet Park Commissioner. Hi Elvis, how are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm well. Yourself?
Okay, I'm blessed. Thank you so much for coming on doing the interview with me here. And Elvis, well, first of all, let's tell the public all about you. Who are you?
Okay, first start with this. I'm going to take my mask off now.
Okay.
Definitely, I am a lifelong resident of Joliet.
Okay.
Born here, well, not born here, but lived here my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I am a public teacher, high school teacher, social studies.
Okay.
Thornton Township High School in Harvey.
Okay.
Raised and graduated from Joliet Central.
Okay.
So very much grounded and rooted here as it relates to education and just my upbringing. I am a member of Redeemed Church on Rowell, not too far from here, this location.
Yeah.
So
Pastor Fears.
Pastor Fears, yes. I'm an elder at the church as well.
Really?
So my faith is what has brought me this far, and I do believe my faith is carrying me and will keep carrying me throughout this journey and throughout my life. So I'll put that first. So let me make sure that's known.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm running for Park District. So I think I answered your question. So who am I? Just the base.
Okay, and you're running for Park District, and that leads me into the next question.
Okay.
Why are you running for Park District?
Why? That is a question I ask myself. I can tell you why not.
Okay.
I'm not doing it for the money because there's no money in it.
Right.
People's like, well, you're going to get a salary. No, there's no money in Park District. There's, it's just for service.
Yeah.
This past year, we saw, not just with the pandemic, but we saw the inequalities in our country come to the forefront even more.
Oh, yeah.
I was not born and raised during the 50s and 60s, but I think I got a taste of that reality this past year. And as much as I teach civics, I teach my students that you need to be civically engaged, run for an election, change things.
Yes.
And I was always on the sideline saying, hey, man, cheering them on when I saw I believe it was Mike Brown when he was killed, and I was upset at that verdict, and I was like, oh, and I was on the sideline. But this past year, I said, no, I can't be on the sideline anymore. I have to get involved. And people ask me all the time, why Park District? Why not school board? You're a teacher. My passion, I had to be passionate about it, and I had to realize that in my family, I'm the one that takes I don't have children of my own, but I take my nieces and nephews, I expose them to our parks. This past year, I went on a weight loss journey, past 2 years actually. So I was visiting the parks more, taking my nieces and nephews. And so I'm like, wow, I see the inequalities in our parks. On the east side of Joliet, I see where there is a need. There is a vacancy. There's a void of representation of people of color, brown and black, especially for the east side. And so I was sick of being on the sideline. This past year was like, no, you need to get in the game.
That's right.
And so that's why I'm in the game. I'm running not for celebrity, not for status. I am not running to become the mayor of Joliet.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be the president of the United States.
Yeah.
I'm running because there is a void and a vacancy, and there's a need for people of color and at the table.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting. However, give me one example of a void that you see in the African American parks. Well, the parks that's primarily in the African Americans community and Latino community.
You just asked for one, so I'll give you
just one.
On the east side of Joliet, there is a void of a water park, a feature, not so much a water park, but a swimming pool. I always wondered why. I remember, not this past summer, but the summer before last, my nieces and nephews wanted to go. It was a hot summer day, and they wanted to go get wet. And so originally I looked up, West Park had an outdoor splash pad.
Yes.
Go to West Park, it's out of commission. It wasn't working. There was another one at Hagee Park. Was out of commission and something was going on with that. So I'm like, literally had to drive all the way to Shanahan. So my nieces and nephews could get in a splash pad to get wet.
Wow.
There was no pool on the east side. There was no splash pads working on the east or even the west side at the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, wow, I have to drive all the way to Shanahan. So there is a void. People on this side of the community, on the east side, have been asking for a swimming pool before they built no facility. I was told that there was no, that the community didn't want it. That is not the case, not at all. Even to this day, like when I ask people, what is something you would like to see brought to the parks? They ask for a swimming pool. And there's a void. If you go to Inwood Park, if you go to the Inwood facility, they have everything that we on this side of the community have been asking for over a decade now. I can go back a decade. You probably can go further back than a decade. What we've been asking for. And so one void is a pool.
Yeah, one void is a pool. And with now the YMCA closing, and they have a pool, you know, the Boys and Girls Club is about the only place over here. Ask you this, Elvis, what's your platform?
My platform. So I'm running on financial responsibility, being responsible with the finances. I am not only a candidate running for Joliet Park, but I'm also a taxpayer. It didn't really hit me as much until I purchased my home. That meant every dollar, every time they raise my taxes, my mortgage payment is going up.
Absolutely.
And so it's important now not only to think about myself in the equation, but think about the taxes and the dollars of every resident in Joliet Park District. So Joliet Park District, if you don't know, encompasses a few communities outside of our Joliet city boundaries. So some of Crest Hill residents paying to Joliet Park, some of even Manuka in that area. And so definitely want you to know that I'm looking out for all of our dollars, not just mine, but I definitely believe it's important that we become more financially responsible and accountable for every tax dollar spent and how we spend that money and allocate the funds in the park district. That's one. I'm also an advocate, a strong advocate, not just because I'm a teacher, but because of my nieces and nephews, of the youth voice. I believe that we should have more youth engagement in our park board decisions. I would like to see youth advocacy or a youth ambassador program with our young people having a voice, come to our meetings and say, hey, this is what we need in our parks, this is what we need for our communities, and we don't have that right now.
Because it's their children.
It's their children and
utilizing it.
Exactly, and we're thinking about the future now. So if we're thinking about the future, I'm thinking about if I have kids in the future, my grandkids, every decision we make now will affect the future generations to come.
Absolutely. And being a teacher, how long have you been a teacher?
Oh man, almost over 10 years now. Definitely. I don't look that old. I'm really not that old, but I've been teaching since probably out of college. I love it. Passionately love it. I teach 12th graders and seniors, so I love this. I do, and I love every bit of it. So I get to have that. By 12th grade, I say it's not so much teaching you new things. It's teaching you how to be the best citizen you can be, because we need to teach our young people that your voice is just as big, should be just as heard as any other citizen in the United States. So at this point, I'm teaching them to be advocates, self-advocates of themselves, and a push for change.
Okay. I like the fact that you're saying it's not necessarily teaching them new things, and I thought just teaching them to navigate through what they already know. And so I think that's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about. You're a lifelong resident. You're a teacher for over 10 years. You were a member of the Illinois Education Association. Okay, talk a little bit about that.
So I am a member. As a teacher, I'm a proud union supporter. I am so many things I say. So I'm locally at my school. I am a regional representative for our region of our association, the Illinois Education Association. I am a delegate for the IEA. I'm a delegate for our NEA. We actually have next week, we have our IEA representation assembly. So I'm representing the region. In my school, there are 4 or 5 buildings in our district, so I represent all the teachers there on the state level, and then NEA is the national level, so I represent the teachers of Illinois on that level. So I'm excited about the job. It's a lot of work. In addition to running a campaign, I'm also on meetings for our delegates with our delegates for the IEA and the NEA. So I'm definitely excited. I realize Joliet and Will County is very union strong.
Yes.
And I say rock on to my union brothers and sisters. Definitely support those who support minimum wage increase and giving the teachers what they deserve and what they've earned. So
yes, absolutely, definitely what they deserve. Okay, so Elvis, let me ask you this: when you obtain the seat of Joliet Park Commissioner, what would be your top priority within your first 100 days?
First 100 days are the 2 things I mentioned. One, first being student advocate. Well, let me go back. I say 3. First is actually bringing that diversity to the board. There needs to be more diversity right now, not just with the color of the skin or race and ethnicity, but with the age. There is not much, and I'm 33. I don't know if you call that young or old. I'm getting there. I'm getting older. So I would like to be the voice of a younger generation. We don't have that right now on the board. So bringing diversity is my first. So just being elected to the board will hit that.
Absolutely.
Then being an advocate for youth, the youth voice. I definitely want to see our youth more involved in our parks, the decisions we make for our parks. And then the last, but certainly not the least, is that water feature. Bringing that water feature. And you mentioned the YMCA closing. Working with the park board to see if the park board can actually purchase or do something with that facility so it's not closed. It has everything we want. It has a pool there. It has an exercise, and I know Noel is not too far from there, but Noel does not offer a swimming pool right now. And that's a prime spot, not just the building, but you get land with that. We can turn that green space. We don't want to do away with our green space. We want to add more green space, especially the east side into downtown area. And I think that if the park district and the park board can come together and work out something with YMCA to purchase that building, those are the top 3. So diversity, youth voice, and then doing something with bringing a water feature, whether it's an indoor pool or even an outdoor water splash pad or something.
Well, I think the park district would say, the people had to come, the revenue has to come in order for us to gain more. So what's your take on trying to get more people involved in coming so that we can get the revenue up to accommodate some of the other things that we want?
Right, so that's a great question. Thank you. One thing is that I did, when I first heard about why closing, I did a comparison with the price, monthly membership. The YMCA over time had to increase their membership dues because, just to keep up, because there wasn't as much membership drive there. And so it's expensive monthly for this side of this community to actually go to the Y and be able to afford monthly to go to Y. So I think the park district there has benefits there because the monthly membership is a little lower. And so if they purchase that, I think it will entice people, especially in this community on the east side, to be able to afford to come to participate in the amenities and the resources offered at the YMCA. I do think that we have to keep in mind that people, there's just a socio-economic divide, and we need to keep in mind that not everyone can afford $100 a month membership. That's just not the case. I teach, I work, full-time job, and I don't think that's a top priority, $100 a month to go work out. But if we can lower those membership prices, we could get more people to come, I believe, to benefit from the YMCA as well as our park district. I definitely would like to see that happen. People in this community, they don't want to see the Y closed. They don't want to see the Noel Recreational Center closed. But they have to be able to afford it. And there are great programs offered through the Joliet Park District. There are great programs offered through YMCA. But we have to find a place where it's affordable more affordable for people living in these communities.
Absolutely, and working these tip jobs.
That's a city council issue.
Yes, it is.
However, I definitely will say this, that we have some tremendous candidates running for every office that's up for election.
Yeah.
And I do believe that if we gather together and we vote for change, that we could see that change. I'm not running for city council, but not only do we need to keep the YMCA open, or at least that building open, we also need to bring a grocery store to the east side.
Okay.
I'm not running for city council, but I just wanted to throw that out there, that whatever the park district could do and help in other avenues and other ways, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
If it's helping the people of Joliet and the surrounding communities, I'm all for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think your platform is awesome. But at this point, Elvis, I really want you to look into that camera, and I want you to tell the citizens, my listening audience, tell them to vote for you and tell them why.
All right, thank you. Again, my name is Elvis Madison. I run for Joliet Park District Commissioner. I can tell you why I think you should vote for me. If you're tired of business as usual, if you're tired of walking out your door, getting in your car with your children, and having to pass up a neighborhood park to go to the other side of town because the park is better, it's time for change. I believe I'm the voice of change. Not only am I passionate about it, I'm not running to seek another office. I'm not running for money. I'm running to be the eyes, the hands, the feet, the voice of the people of Joliet. I definitely do believe that if you get out and vote for a change, there's going to be ballots. You're going to see this ballot, and there's going to have names that you've seen all the time. And you're going to be enticed to vote for the name that you see every time. But there's some new candidates running. I'm one of those new names, Elvis Lewis Madison Jr. Please give me a shot. Check me out on Facebook. Go to my website. I'm approachable. You can call me. You can send me a message, email me. I'll respond. I definitely will be you sitting on the board. I'll be you.
Okay, and give them that website, please.
My website is www.elvisforjolietparks.org. That's elvisforjolietparks.org. I believe it's important to realize that Joliet, and speaking on a Joliet Park level, that the parks, we fund the parks. Taxpayers fund the parks. But the board decides what to do with those funds. So when you vote for me, you're voting with confidence that I'm going to keep you in mind when I vote for how we spend and budget our money. City council, the same thing. They affect the ordinances, the local laws of the land. If you don't like the potholes on your street, who you elect determines when or which streets get priority with those potholes. Think about the snow trucks. The city council, the city people hire people to make those decisions for you. And so it's important. I know we already voted our president. We have a new president. And now our focus has to be on our local election. The next one's going to be as the governor. We're worried about the governor, and more people vote for the governor. But it's important that you do not forget that city council, park district, county level, township level is just as important as the national election. So I'm sorry that you did not know there was an election, but watch this, now you know April 6th is an election. We have to do better with educating our people, our citizens, our community, that there is an election. Another smaller election as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's very, very important, very vital that you actually pay attention to your local election, and not only pay attention. You know what? When you vote for these candidates, you hold them accountable, but there you support them as well. You make them transparent. You make them honest. You make them have integrity in serving you, because you, the people, the voters, you have the power, and you need to use it. So once again, Elvis, thank you so much for coming on and doing the interview with me. God bless you on your run to obtain that seat. And I know that you're passionate about it, and you're going to do everything within your power and God's will to bring that change to fruition. So, okay, thank you.